Shocked mother immediately called the police, who are currently trying to receive the messages from the account after the girl deleted them in a panic. She even logged onto the Likey app posing as her daughter and was stunned to receive a barrage of messages from strangers who asked her to play dares with them. Others begged her to send them X-rated photos. The mother has now launched a petition to ban private messaging functions and apps aimed at children under 13. Now, if you click on it, it will take you to what shows a petition that says ban chat functions and apps used by children under 13 years old. Now, this petition only received 2,651 signatures out of 10,000. It was posted on November 2019, but shortly after this was posted above it stating this petition closed early because of a general election. So I'm not sure what the outcome of this was, but hopefully something was done about it, at least in the UK, which is where this story originated from. Now, do note that this was posted a couple years ago, and you would think that since then the app has changed. Well, there have been a few minor changes, such as the fact that I do believe now you have to be over the age of 13 to have an account. Here is a snippet of the app's actual policy, going into this with a little bit more detail. We're committed to protecting the privacy of young users as defined later. If you are under the age of 13 or 18 if you're using our live streaming services, quote, young users, you may not create a Likey account or you will be directed to the model specifically designed for young users, in which we will collect only limited information. We provide a separate policy for young users in the United States on the model specifically designed for young users. For information regarding our privacy practices in the US with respect to users under the age of 13, please visit our privacy policy for young users. If you believe that we have inappropriately collected personal information from a young user, please contact us. Just so you know, this statement here seems less about the entire issue that's been going on with this app and more about the advertisement laws in the United States, which prohibits people from collecting data on children under the age of 13 to use for marketing and ads. However, there is another section that states, Likey services is not directed to children, and if you are under the age of 16 years old, or other age of majority as required by laws of your country or your domicile, or 18 if you use our live streaming services, you may not create a Likey account or use Likey services. We have zero tolerance to any form of child abuse or exploitation. Your data, including private messages, may be shared with legal agencies if we in our good faith believe that you have engaged in child abuse, or if we are requested to do so by relevant legal agencies. That smells like a lot of bullshit, considering the previous statement was talking about children under 13 and, quote, young users. Not to mention just the demographic with a lot of these bigger platforms on the app itself. It's very easy to see the majority of people using this app are very young. And it seems like this app is unfortunately notorious for actually having this problem specifically. So if this really is your policy, it seems a little inconsistent, and it also seems like it's not being enforced enough. Despite this, however, there do seem to be a lot of young children who either make accounts or use the app without an account, because you can do that. You don't need to make an account to use the app. You can still scroll and be subjected to this. But a lot of people who do make the accounts are younger than 13, as mentioned in these reviews on the Apple Store, and they share some really disturbing stories. Let's go over a few. We're going to go over some really disturbing reviews that were posted underneath the Likey app on the App Store. The reason why I find these to be important is because I went under most recent when looking for reviews on this app. So while the article was written in 2019, these were written within the past week. And these are only a few reviews. If I went over every single one-star review on this app, we would be here all day. A fair warning, by the way, these are just text reviews. To my knowledge, you can't post screenshots or anything like that on an app review from the App Store, so you can take these with a grain of salt. But to those who might assume that some of these people are just lying for clout, App Store reviews aren't really going to get anybody clout, especially since some of these were posted anonymously. Just wanted to throw that out there before we get into this. I would give this app 0 stars, but then I wouldn't be able to make a review. I was about 10 years old when I got this app, and I was so excited to get it. The only problem was that, like many, it's filled with The app did nothing to protect me from them. I would get DM after DM with very inappropriate messages, and I would just ignore them, but then it became too much. For the record, you can see who viewed your profile. I blocked the parts hoping everything would be fine from then, and I could continue having fun releasing my creativity, but I would get notification after notification that they were viewing my profile and liking my videos. I was confused because I blocked them until I looked it up to make sure I wasn't going crazy, and I wasn't, because you can press the block button, but the people can still view my videos, save them, and message me. I tried to find a private button, but you can't have your account go private either, so since I was so scared of the messages and people, I tried to delete my account, but I couldn't. You're not able to delete an account, only the videos. So I deleted the videos and left the app completely. I was terrified and heartbroken from what I experienced. I just wanted to go back in time and not ever download the app in the first place. This is a terrible app that is filled with crazy people, and there's no way to protect yourself. Do not download unless you want what happened to me to happen to you. My little sister has been stalked by an old man that she met on Likey. He forced her to send private body pictures of herself. He then threatened her if she told anyone that he would her entire family. What hurt the most was looking at my sister's iPad. I cried and cried. I told our mom and we confronted her about it. I took her iPad and decided to confront him as well after that. After that, I deleted the app off of her iPad, and our mom took my little sister's iPad. This will stay with her forever. A few days passed and I noticed a car in front of our house. It's been there for days. I asked my little sister what the man looked like. She did not know. At this point, I was so scared I didn't know what to do but to call the police. They said he went to jail for 7 years. My sister was 11 years old, now she's 13 and has to go to therapy and is considered bipolar. This app is absolutely disgusting. It didn't care about my family situation and kept the app as it was. I wouldn't download Likey. There are creeps. Someone I know got tons of inappropriate comments. Ban this app, App Store. I don't know how to feel about this, but it seems like every time someone makes a very serious complaint about the app on the App Store, the developer responds and always encourages people to follow up through the in-app report system, I guess. There's a couple problems with this. The first is that some of the people who claim that this app is so seriously bad already deleted the app and don't want to re-download it. And the second thing is, they seem very eager to want to settle this through a system that can't be viewed publicly, or at least so I would imagine, because if you're sending it to a report system, those usually aren't public. But maybe I could be looking into that too much. Maybe they're just giving a general response, because it seems like they give the same response to other concerns. It's just that considering the subject matter, it feels very silencing. When I first opened the app, it was really cool. Then I had it for another day, and I got a random message from some random person, probably some AI or something. Then it took me to a site. The title was My Hot Video. Highly do not recommend this app. Something like this isn't uncommon for people. However, again, we're talking about a kids app, and if a kids app is allowing something like this, that's a problem. This app's moderation is horrible. I saw a video of a 10-year-old girl dancing, and there were many old men commenting nasty stuff like, "You're so I love you." So gross. Do not get for your little kid. I used to love this app. I got a lot of followers and made friends and much more. Then one day I do a live stream and people were asking, "What is your name? Where do you live? And how old are you?" And much more. And then a few weeks later, one of my followers texted me and says, "Hi there, beautiful." I just said hi. And then it says, "Hello, I am such and such. I could make you super happy for the rest of your life. I would be your sugar daddy. I could give you buttloads of money and we could go on vacations." Something like that, but I try to block that person, but I could not because he did not post anything. That is the only way to block someone. So I deleted Likey and will never ever get it again. If you are somebody who might have a young child that keeps asking you, "Hey, can I download Likey?" do a little bit of research into the app itself before you make that decision. Look at the reviews, look at what people are saying, look into these stories, because I promise you that this is something that I would not feel comfortable allowing my child to use unsupervised. Be warned that even if you put a parental lock on this app, which you can do, it doesn't make it 100% foolproof, as others have also stated. So at the last minute of this video, I decided to look into this a little bit more. After seeing all of the reviews and hearing all of the stories from people, I wanted to look into this for myself and see if this was really happening. I decided to briefly make a Likey account and put the age as 13 to see if there were any security systems put into place to protect a 13-year-old user. And what you are about to see is something I genuinely was not expecting to find within just minutes of looking into this app. You don't even have to make an account. You see how it has creator login? You can log in, meaning that you could see all of these videos without even having an account. So this is the profile I'm making. We got Yikes Wazowski for the profile picture with Mimi, and I made the birthday June 1st, 2009, because that would make this user 13, so we can do the parental control feature and we can see what this account will be like from the eyes of a 13-year-old. The parental controls are right here, the little umbrella, so I'm gonna hit that. It says parental controls disabled. We want to enable it, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 for the password. Now parental controls are on. This is a video under parental lock. More videos under parental lock. Okay, so what parental lock really seems to do, the first thing I notice, is you can only share a video, or what does this do? Not interested, discomfort, or reduce the record or report. Okay, that definitely is not something that would be appropriate for a 13-year-old. The videos are not that different between the ones under parental lock and the ones that aren't. In fact, the ones under the parental lock seem a lot more suggestive than the ones that are just normal. There's something called a chat room. This is called chat room. So these are all, I guess you can go into these rooms, and so each one has so many people in them. So when looking into this app, I decided to look into the comments on videos that seemed to be from younger children. This was within about 5 to 10 minutes of using this app. On the third video I looked at comments on, the girl who posted this video listed their age as 94 years old, and this person looked no older than 13. So what that tells me is that this person is likely under the minimum age that you have to be to have an account. Obviously, I'm not going to show their image, but trust me when I say they are very clearly not 94 years old. Anyway, when I was looking into this, I saw a comment on one of their videos by a gentleman who is in his 60s, and it's about to go from 1 to 100. What's this dude? 64. Okay, here we go. This guy is 64. He has videos of himself on this app, on a video that is very obviously of a child. It says, "Sweet stuff, honey." That's creepy. While editing, I realized that I didn't explain what was going on in this next clip, so here I am to do that now. So on apps like TikTok, you have the option to make your likes private so people can't see the videos that you like. But on Likey, you can't do that. You can see anybody's history of liked videos on their account. And the list of this guy's liked videos was disgusting. While everything is blurred out, the reaction you see from me is genuine because I'm absolutely disgusted. The majority of this guy's liked videos were a bunch of little girls, which I don't know why I'm surprised, because the video I found this guy's comment on was a video of a girl who looked no older than 13. 360, you can't see the likes. Wait, can you? Oh my god! What the I can't even show this. Can I report this? Dude, like, okay, this guy's entire like list is like a bunch of young kids. And the reason why I'm including this at all in this video is to show you how easy it is for people like this to get on this app and do this to kids. And also, this was not the only guy. There was another guy who, if I remember correctly, was about 34 years old doing the same shit. Again, this was only within minutes. This did not take hours. This did not take a lot of digging. This was within minutes of downloading the app. They are very, very easy to come across. So I just want to record this part as well. I am deleting this account. Confirm deletion. Your account has been deleted. So yeah, my day is fucking ruined. The issue of childhood safety on the internet is not something that is new. People have been talking about this for quite a long time. However, I have not seen enough people talking about how concerning this app in particular can be, because it seems like there is a lack of regulation and a lack of moderation even when it comes to the safety of these kids. They say that they have all of these rules in place and all of these settings done to prevent prevent children from being put in danger, yet you see so many reviews on the Apple Store from people who claim to be children or knowing children that were put in a dangerous situation over this app. In my opinion, it does not seem safe for a very young child to use, and if you are going to allow your child to use this app, please do so with heavy supervision, and please, as I previously mentioned, do a lot of your own research into this app before deciding whether or not you want to allow your child to use it. This app has over 500 million users, and when you compare that to TikTok, it might not seem like a lot, but 500 million people is a lot of people. That is a lot. You don't know how many of those people using this app could be dangerous for your child to be interacting with, and this app seems to make it pretty easy for people to interact with each other. With that being said, thank you so much if you made it all the way to the end of this video. I know this one was a little bit darker and was not a happy thing to talk about, but if you made it all the way through, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you so much to everybody who has been supporting me over on Patreon, especially Lewis, Miss Tanisha, Anthony Tressout, Michelle, and Deemer WM. Thank you very, very, very much, and thank you so much to everyone who has been giving me super thanks. If you see your name here, I just want to let you know that I greatly appreciate you as well, and with that being said, I will see you in the next video with hopefully something a lot less dark, but we'll see.
Boogie2988. This is a name you've likely heard of if you have spent any time on the YouTube platform in the last decade and a half.
Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet.
If the name Boogie2988 doesn't ring any bells, then his face may seem super familiar to you because of an old video persona that used to be very popular in the early days of YouTube. Do you remember Francis?
No! I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find my goddamn Mountain Dew. Yeah, did you drink my Mountain Dew? Did you drink my Mountain Dew? Let me smell your breath. Let me smell your breath!
This stereotypical, fat, angry gamer persona that Boogie would perform as was a huge hit on YouTube way back when. However, with how he has been acting recently in the current day and age, I'm starting to believe that Francis was less of a character and more of an insight into the kind of person Boogie truly is. Once seen as the Mr. Rogers of YouTube, Boogie has gone through great lengths to fully destroy his reputation and transform himself into a full-on lolcow. From pulling a gun on Frank Hassel,
In about 30 seconds, I'm gonna fire a warning shot.
Fire it now! Fire the warning shot now.
to losing all of his money from his prostitute addiction and bad cryptocurrency investments,
I put my money in the crypto market in the wrong section, and I pretty much lost most of everything.
and now, even more recently, being caught faking a cancer diagnosis.
It's fine, Boogie. Just admit it's not on the portal.
It's not on there. I told you this.
Okay,
I
thank
I
you.
have to do the verifying test.
All right.
I can send you blood test. I can give you blood test results.
If you don't have polycythemia vera on the, you don't have it on the portal?
He doesn't have it on the portal.
And these are just some of the many, many controversies Boogie has found himself involved in throughout his career. His narcissistic need to make everything about himself while simultaneously doing or saying anything to make himself look good is the reason behind his terrible reputation today. This is the story of Boogie2988's well-deserved downfall. Boogie2988, whose real name is Stephen Jason Williams, was born on July 24th, 1974, making him 50 years old at the time of making this video. During his youth, he grew up in St. Paul, Virginia, with his two siblings and his parents. Boogie's childhood is self-described as a troubling one, growing up with a mentally ill, abusive mother and an alcoholic father that would also mistreat him. The levels of abuse he faced from his parents is something that is always called into question because the stories Boogie has told about it have dramatically changed throughout his time on YouTube, seeming to fluctuate from saying he was just mentally and physically abused in the beginning and going as far as claiming he was raped by his father later on in the future. Boogie also claims during his childhood he was often very sick. Whether it was allergies or illnesses like the flu or chickenpox, this would cause him to stay home from school and be a shut-in. Because of this, he didn't get much physical activity and became overweight early on in his childhood. Eventually, his father's alcoholic lifestyle of drinking 20 to 30 beers a day would catch up to him and he would begin to have alcoholic seizures. This would essentially make his father akin to a stroke victim. He no longer had the ability to work, walk, talk, or really perform any basic human task without help.
Eventually, all that drinking and smoking and coal mining caught up to my dad. Something went wrong in his brain. They called it alcoholic seizures, though it pretty much was just like a stroke, and it left him like a stroke victim. He couldn't work anymore, so it was up to me and my mother to take care of him, and all he did was pretty much sit in his recliner and stare at the wall. He couldn't really communicate. He couldn't hear because he was deaf from working in the mines, and he couldn't talk because of his stutter.
Steven would turn to binge eating as a way to cope with his stress and depression during these times, and by high school he was a sad, overweight teenager without much going on for himself. However, things would start looking up for Boogie around this time because he was given the opportunity to join Upward Bound. Upward Bound is a federally funded education program designed to give high school students better opportunities for attending college. And it was in this program where Boogie was able to meet like-minded people that enjoyed the same things he did, like video games or Dungeons and Dragons. He was even able to meet a girl here and began his first serious relationship. By the time Boogie was graduating high school, he had a group of friends, a girlfriend, and a plan to go to college. The University of Virginia, to be specific, and his girlfriend would even join him on this journey. It wouldn't take long, though, for Boogie's positive rebound in life to eventually take a turn for the worse when him and his girlfriend would start fighting, and soon after, they would break up. Because this was his first real relationship, the breakup would cause Boogie to be so distraught he would flunk out of college and subsequently find himself back in the same position he was before Upward Bound. He had no friends, no job, and he was fatter than ever before. Luckily for Boogie though, his older brother at this point lived in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and offered Boogie an opportunity to start a new life in a new state. Boogie would take his brother up on this opportunity, and it was here in Arkansas where he met a new group of friends that shared his same interest in nerd culture, video games, and Magic the Gathering. He also enrolled himself in a computer lab where he started to learn how to code HTML and became a freelance web developer. Even though he was asked to make shady NSFW websites from some of his clients, he didn't mind because it earned him a stable enough income to support himself.
So I started using what I learned to start coding for the web, and I started doing web design, which was really fun, even though sometimes I ended up with clients that I didn't like working for who did kind of dirty stuff.
Despite being in the best position in his life with a new group of friends and a solid job, Boogie was still depressed and he was still binge eating. These two conditions would only continue to worsen for Steven in the very near future. A prevailing theme for Boogie's story is what goes up must come down, apart from his weight, of course. While Steven was reinventing himself in Arkansas, his father died of cancer and his mother fell and broke her leg. The combination of these two things marked the start of a 7-year period for Boogie where he became so depressed he didn't leave his home. During this time, he stopped working, socializing with his friends, and continued to binge eat to cope with his depression. And when Boogie was finally ready to pull himself out of this depressive slump and get back to work, he would also find this to be a very difficult task. By the time he chose to return to work, the coding and web developing market had become so oversaturated and competitive that this was no longer a viable option for Boogie to make a living. He would slowly dwindle his savings account to nothing and start relying on his roommate that luckily pitied him enough to support him. It would be around this time where Boogie would finally discover YouTube, creating his channel almost 20 years ago on April 6th, 2006. At this point in time, the social media platform had only been around for a little over a year and was nothing like the YouTube you and I use today. Boogie's first upload to YouTube would be on September 17th, 2006, and it was a short, simple video titled Playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Those of you in the front rank need to make a an evasion check.
He continued uploading random videos and would even find some viral success on some, like the video titled The Incredible Bulk, where Boogie rips off his shirt and shows off his shirtless body. Boogie almost weighed in at an astonishing 600 pounds and was already used to people making comments about his weight. So a big part of his content in the beginning was showing off just how heavy he was, often recording videos shirtless and leaning into being an overweight man by making videos aptly titled "Fat Guy Eats McDonald's."
This ain't Diet Coke. I'm fat as hell. Fat as hell. It's the food that does it. This is the damn food. I shouldn't eat so much of it. No. Shouldn't be eating at McDonald's, but I am. Fuck it.
In 2009, after a few years of uploading videos, Boogie's channel had over 3,000 subscribers. While that isn't an insanely high number, it was a respectable amount of supporters in that period of time. It was also around this time when Boogie's mother would die and cause him to take a 17-day hiatus from making videos. This was the longest break he had taken in a while. However, when Boogie would finally return to the platform, he began posting more videos than he ever had. In some of his videos, he started to play characters and acting out skits. One of his less popular personalities was a southern character named Jesse.
They said, Jesse, you fat. You don't need to be drinking the beer. You don't need to be out on the internet broadcasting your ignorance. And I mean, I'll tell you something, that's the thing about freedom. I'm welcome to damn well do what I want.
However, the character that was by far the most popular and became Boogie's ticket to fame was the one named Francis. Francis was a stereotypical angry gamer that went on rants about video games and often resorted to melting down on camera and breaking the things around him. Eventually, a man named Ray William Johnson would see a Francis video and react to it on his web series Equals 3. Ray was one of the most subscribed channels on YouTube in this era, and if he featured one of your videos on his show, you were likely to have an abundance of new subscribers heading your way. And that's exactly what happened for Boogie. His channel would jump to about 25,000 subscribers, and YouTube would offer him access to the partnership program. After all of this, Boogie would meet a woman named Des, a fan of Boogie turned girlfriend. She would go visit Boogie for a week in June 2010 and inspire him to create even more content. This would ultimately lead to his channel growing even larger. Des would move in with Boogie after some time in October 2010, and she would even start helping him lose weight. By the end of this year, Boogie had over 40,000 subscribers, a fully monetized channel that was earning him a substantial amount of money, and a girlfriend. 2011 for Boogie was another good year, seeing more success on his channel. His character Francis would be the main focus of his content, and he would often capitalize off the virality of freak out or rage content during this time.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find my goddamn Mountain Dew. Yeah, did you drink my Mountain Dew? Did you drink my Mountain Dew? Let me smell your breath. Let me smell your breath. Oh, you Mountain Dew drinking bitch.
Boogie earned enough ad revenue from his videos to be able to move into a house with his girlfriend Des. She would also quit her job to assist Boogie with his videos and give him medical assistance. By the end of the year, he was easily able to grow his subscribers to over 80,000. 2012 was another great year for Boogie, to say the least. He would continue to post his tried and true Francis videos, and he would also post normal commentary videos, not playing a character at all, and just talking candidly to his audience.
I was speaking with a friend of mine, sort of a business associate, sort of friend. The friend's not important, the topic's not important, but we came to a disagreement, and in that disagreement, I was a complete prick. And that's something I think a lot of people here about YouTube don't know about me, because I try to put on this air of being super nice and super kind, and I try to put that on in real life too.
Around this time, Boogie would even propose to his girlfriend that he had been dating for 2 years via a YouTube video, and she would say yes.
And Des, I'm asking you to marry me. Will you marry me?
During this year, Boogie would also create a gaming channel capitalizing off the growing trend on the platform. Originally consisting of Let's Plays, he eventually began giving his opinions on popular new releases as well. Amazingly, by the end of 2012, Boogie would easily say this was the best year of his life. His main channel had grown to over 250,000 subscribers. He was engaged to his girlfriend, and shockingly, he had lost over 50 pounds. 2013 would be yet another amazing year for Boogie. He would find massive success on his channel, gaining over 1.5 million subscribers by the end of the year, and he would start getting some features on actual television like the 2013 Super Bowl ad. In the beginning of 2014, he would be featured on another TV show that was about dieting and extreme eating lifestyles.
Joseph is about to meet Boogie, a supersized internet blogger.
Boogie to 988 coming at you through the power of the internet. I'm 39 years old and I'm about 37 and a half stone.
Boogie readily admits that he's addicted to food.
Food is the center of my universe. Yeah, when I'm eating food, I'm thinking about the next thing I'm eating or thinking about the thing I'll eat after that.
As a consequence of his weight, Boogie suffers from diabetes, high blood pressure and arthritis.
The back pain is now constant, the knee pain is now constant, my weight is destroying just about every aspect of my life. It's literally killing me.
By this point, Boogie was a well-known and established YouTuber beyond his Francis character. He had a genuine community that cared about him, and a majority of the people that watched Boogie thought he was a kind person with a decent opinion that they could trust. It was in 2014, however, when Boogie would face his first bit of criticism from his subscribers. Because he started to have a softer take on the topics he spoke about, he was accused of pandering to his audience. And of course, Boogie would address this.
The problem comes down to one small thing. I'm happy. For the first time in a really, really long life, I'm actually genuinely happy, and I owe that to you. So yes, because I enjoy my Xbox One, I'm going to talk about the Xbox One in a positive way. Yes, if I offend you, of course I'm going to apologize, because I don't want you to have hurt feelings. I want you to be happy too. And yes, I'm enjoying life right now, so I'm going to talk about life in a positive way. So yes, you're right. I have gone soft. And my content reflects it.
Even though Boogie was taking less aggressive stances on topics, it would not prevent him from being involved in the massive 2014 Gamergate controversy. The game journalist, Anita Sarkeesian, began criticizing video games for their depictions of women and believed they encouraged sexual violence. Even though tons of people online hated her for the claims she was making, she did have supporters who agreed with what she was saying. Boogie would weigh in on this situation by taking a centrist position, not agreeing or disagreeing with what Anita said, but instead disavowing the extremist on both sides doxing and sending death threats to Anita and other parties involved. Because of this, people online would begin to try and dox Boogie, as well as start to send him death threats too. Boogie, in typical fashion, would address this situation to his audience.
Over the past couple of weeks, this has been really ramped up. I've had my public information doxed, I've had death threats, I've had people threaten my wife.
Although most people echoed support for him, there was a small group of people beginning to harbor the sentiment that Boogie was a fence sitter and that he likes to play the victim in these online dramas, which of course, Boogie had to make a video addressing those claims as well.
So this video isn't about me. If you're the kind of detractor who wants to say, oh, Boogie's playing the victim card again, he just fat piece of wants attention, you know, I'm used to hearing it, the usual.
Boogie has an unrelenting urge to respond to his critics, and it's something that will continuously get him in trouble throughout this story. Regardless of the hot water he found himself in, Boogie would end 2014 on a positive note. He would receive an invitation to present a category at the Game Awards and end the year with his channel sitting at over 2.1 million subscribers. 2015 and 2016 would be two more good years for Boogie. Apart from his Francis video starting to get demonetized, Boogie himself remained a popular figure amongst the gaming side of YouTube. And despite gaining some detractors over the years, he had many more fans that loved and adored him. He was still liked enough by the majority of people to win the Trending Gamer category of the 2016 Game Awards. Following this, in 2017, Boogie would announce a video titled My Last Mountain Dew Ever. And in this video, he would say he is very close to being able to undergo a gastric bypass surgery. A gastric bypass surgery reduces your stomach to the size of an egg, severely limiting the amount of food you can eat every day. However, before Boogie would undergo this surgery, he would find himself back in hot water. He would be invited to an anti-bullying panel at VidCon with other guest speakers. And one of these speakers was Anita Sarkeesian. Parisian. During his time on panel, Boogie claimed he was very cautious with his words to avoid any kind of confrontation with Anita. Even while doing this, Boogie managed to anger her with his rather lackluster closing statements, trying to relieve any tension he felt in the room. Anita felt annoyed that she didn't have enough time to respond to Boogie's closing arguments and decided to confront him afterwards. Of course, Boogie, who desperately wants to be seen as a moderate, nice guy, tried to hash things out with her civilly, pretty much to no avail. It's honestly pretty amazing he couldn't see the irony of being bullied by Anita at an anti-bullying panel. After this, Boogie would go on to make a YouTube video discussing the situation where he would only exasperate the claims that he is a fence-sitter because of the way he handled the situation. Choosing to take a neutral stance and pander to Anita in his videos, his viewers saw this as cowardly and wondered why Boogie wouldn't stand up for himself. He would receive so much backlash from this that he would create a second video further addressing the controversy to try and calm his audience. While this would appease some of his fans, it would be around this time Boogie would subsequently start his fall from grace as more and more people started to see him as an annoying centrist that wanted to be liked by everybody. 2 months after Boogie would face backlash, he would successfully undergo his weight loss surgery without any major complications. While this is great news, his wife would finally believe Boogie was able to take care of himself and soon divorce him after the surgery at the end of 2017. Boogie would go to YouTube posting a video titled, "It's True. Wife and I are getting a divorce. Here's what's next," in which he explains the ending of his marriage. The response to this video was split, where half of the audience showed Boogie's support for his decisions, while the other half shamed Boogie's now ex-wife for divorcing him. Boogie's viewership began declining from here. The Francis and gaming content he was producing became less and less frequent as he started to post unrelated videos going on long-winded rants about his life and the hardships he faced after his divorce. Boogie's popularity would continue to nosedive in 2018 as his desire to be the beloved centrist would proceed to bite him in the ass time and time again. He would be invited to be a guest on the H3 podcast, and during this time on the show, he would state that he believes the legalization of gay marriage should take 20 years.
Like, I've always believed, hey, we should have same-sex marriage. I love same-sex marriage. Let's do it. But the problem is, we try to get it done right now. There's going to be a huge backlash, okay? So let's try to do it in 20 years, in 10 years, and let's see if we can avoid the backlash, right? Let's just slowly, methodically change minds.
Boogie's attempts to appease both sides of the argument blew up in his face in typical fashion, as the anti-gay marriage camp disagreed with him for obvious reasons, and the pro-gay marriage camp felt Boogie wasn't nearly passionate enough about the topic to be speaking about it in the first place. It would also be on this podcast where Boogie would unknowingly reveal he was romantically involved with a sugar baby. If you are unaware of what a sugar baby is, it's a young person who receives financial support or gifts in exchange for companionship or sexual intimacy, usually from an older man called a sugar daddy. While Boogie didn't outright say who the woman was, it did not take long for Twitter sleuths to find out. They would find a woman named Lucy Fox vaguely tweeting in reference to this podcast episode, connecting her tweets with the fact that she was also a cam girl and her 21st birthday was coming up. It looked like the detractors found the right person. And they did. Boogie, of course, would deny her affiliation with being a sugar baby and go on to claim they met each other organically. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. The same detectives that found Lucy Fox in the first place also discovered Boogie's profile on Seeking. Seeking is a website dedicated to sugar babies and sugar daddies. And on Boogie's profile stood out a pretty insane description chock full of lies. Like the fact he listed he had a net worth of $500,000 and an annual income of $150,000 a year. His About Me section also read, "Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Me. I'm a big dude, recovering from a divorce and gastric bypass surgery. I am using this site as a way to meet someone who can look past my faults to find the man I am underneath, which is pretty awesome, by the way. I do social media for a living. I make a killing. I travel, I see the world, I hang out with famous internet folks. I love what I do. I own a mirror. I know what I look like, but I promise I'm worth it." Following the discovery of this sugar daddy profile, Lucy Fox would post a 13-minute video detailing her relationship with Boogie. In this video, she would state, in person, Boogie is nothing like the online character he plays. She would go on to claim that in this relationship, she suffered verbal abuse as well as damage to her career. And that's because Boogie would emotionally manipulate and guilt trip her into staying with him for long periods of time instead of going home to work on her cam job to financially support herself. Lucy would need to do this because apparently Boogie wasn't holding up his end of the deal when it came to the sugar baby relationship. And once all of this information became public, Boogie was invited on Drama Alert to defend himself. On the show, Keemstar allowed Boogie to spin the narrative by saying Lucy was actually a gold-digging girlfriend and not an unpaid sugar baby like she was claiming to be. And because Keemstar and Boogie are friends, Keem hardly gave Boogie any pushback at all throughout this entire interview.
Boogie, this cam girl is saying that you guys were dating and that, you know, you wouldn't let her leave, you wouldn't let her work. Is any of this true?
Man, I mean, I never even wanted to confirm whether or not we dated because I didn't want any negativity in her life. Like, that's why I didn't want the people who hate on me to start hating on her. And, you know, I never even wanted to confirm that she was the girl I dated, but I guess that ship has sailed now.
She said the only way she can make money is if she's at home doing her cam girl stuff, right? And that you wouldn't like let her leave the house. Is that true?
But she didn't live here. Like she lives at home where she has her own home. Right. Like if I didn't want her to leave once, why would she ever come back? That doesn't make any sense to me. Right. I don't understand. Like, that's not something you can do to somebody who doesn't live with you, and she never lived here or anything like that. We would see each other 2 or 3 days a week. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Seeing that Boogie would lie about something so easily disproven, people began to wonder what else he was lying about. Detractors online began analyzing all of Boogie's stories and claims, looking for inconsistencies and lies. And as it turns out, there was a lot of them. Remember when I mentioned Boogie would code NSFW sites for shady clients to make money before YouTube? Well, it turns out Boogie owned and ran a bunch of these porn websites himself. On these websites, he would promote pornography, share his opinions on sex toys, and of course, go on insane rants in blog-style posts like this one. The fact that I'm crazy is no stranger to the good staff at Evil Squared, nor is it a strange concept to anyone that reads the site or has viewed my videos. I am, for all intents and purposes, batshit crazy. This past week or so has been different for me. This next week will be doubly so. Out into the real world, looking for real work, at a real workplace. Hopefully landing a job this week. I'm excited. At the same time, these normal activities remind me exactly how insane I am. I wonder if the people interviewing me know what's going on under the surface. While I'm applying for a job entering your data, or taking your orders, or speaking to your customers, do you know that during the previous weekend we all got together and smoked weed, drank, and fucked? Does she know how many orgies I've been to or arranged? Does she know how many girls I've watched fuck or fuck myself? Does she know that I'm a monster? Does she know that I have internet sites that are so disorienting it would make Satan blush? Does she know that I've filmed more sex than she's likely had? Yes, that is an actual post Boogie made from an old porn website he used to run. While these statements from Boogie are most likely untrue, it still portrayed a drastically different character from the one he likes to display on YouTube. It really goes to show just how much of a disgusting degenerate Boogie really is. One of the major things people began to doubt from Boogie was the subject of his childhood trauma. Now, I personally won't say he faked all of his abuse like some people online claim, because I definitely think there was some form of abuse in Boogie's household. However, the sheer amount of contradictory claims that have come from Boogie over the years definitely leads one to have skepticism about what is true and what is false about his experiences. For example, on a live stream, Boogie would tell his viewers he was molested but never raped by his parents.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, people are crazy. How do I respond? My mother never raped me. My mother did molest me. She never, like, forced me to have sex with her, but she did molest me. It's a simple thing. I don't know why people are like that. What the heck? I don't understand. And I guess he just doesn't understand the difference between rape and molestation. But yeah, I got molested but not raped by my parents.
However, on another live stream Boogie would be doing, he would then make the claim that he was in fact raped by his father.
Do me a favor and clip this for me, okay? I deal with everything with comedy. my own mortality, my mother's death, my father raping me.
Following this, he would tweet out reaffirming that he was raped by his father and it somehow made him a better person. Not stopping there either, on another streaming night, Boogie would go on to make further claims that he was actually raped multiple times in his childhood.
I'm going to shit talk my ex-wife a little bit here, and I'm sorry to do it. I'm sorry to do it. But it did hurt when we separated. Of course it hurt when we separated. I'm a human. I knew it wasn't working. I knew I wasn't happy. I knew she wasn't happy. But of course it still hurt. Of course it still hurt. It sucked. It was the most painful experience I ever went through in my life. I would rather relive my entire childhood with all of the rapes and the molestations and the beatings than I would to have gone through that divorce. I really would have. I really would have. It sucked.
And I know victims of abuse can sometimes block out or forget what happened to them due to how traumatic the experiences are, and that might be what is happening for Boogie here. But the amount of contradictions he has told, accompanied by the fact that he has proven himself to be an unreliable narrator, causes me to have a hard time believing all of his claims at face value. Throughout 2018 and 2019, a popular topic of discussion across Boogie's social media was his financial issues. Trying to drum up a narrative that he wasn't making enough money through AdSense because of demonetization, Boogie would tweet out this: "If I knew I could do this job another 20 years, I wouldn't worry about it, but I will be surprised if I'm still able to do it this time next year. Whatever I earn in the next 12 months is gonna be it. Then it's back to working retail, so of course I want to earn some savings." That's right. Boogie, for some reason, believed he was going to have to go get a retail job in a year, despite having a YouTube channel with over 4 million subscribers and an active fan base that has helped him see massive success online for the better part of the last decade. And I think Boogie forgot that a week before he tweeted about having to go back to retail work, he also tweeted about how he makes 6 figures a year and is going to Disney. What's even funnier is shortly after Boogie tweeted about having to get a retail job, he bought a fucking Tesla. Yeah, you can't make this shit up, and this is what I mean by it's hard to believe anything Boogie says. Online, Boogie is telling you that he is financially struggling and YouTube isn't paying him anymore, while in reality, he's at the Tesla dealership shopping for a new Model X. To add an additional layer of comedy to this story, Boogie would go on Twitter and Twitch live streams to gloat about his new car purchase. After doing so, he rightfully received so much backlash from his audience, he ended up regretting his decision and canceled the brand new Tesla order. Unsurprisingly, after this, he tried to gaslight everyone into believing this was all a joke, and that he was never actually serious about buying a Tesla. But I think you'd have to be missing part of your brain to believe that. The next notable incident inside Boogie's story comes in the following year when now banned YouTuber Frank Hassel began a personal trolling campaign against Boogie that went so far, Boogie ended up in jail over it. Frank began tweeting at Boogie, antagonizing and trolling him after he was blocked on Twitter in the middle of 2020. The feud between these two would continue to escalate on August 11th when the pair would join Ethan Ralph's kill stream. This was an almost 2-hour back and forth between Boogie and Frank that only made Boogie look like a bigger idiot than he already did.
Go ahead. Hey Frank, I do have I have a question for you though, Frank.
Okay.
When you were watching my old Francis videos for your shtick, and like watching farming that to come up with a thing to do online, did you feel bad when you didn't donate to me before you wholeheartedly fucking ripped off my shtick? And also, again, do you realize that Francis is supposed to be the bad guy? You realize you shouldn't aspire to be that character, right? Don't actually be that character, right?
I don't think that you have made anything worth anybody ever ripping off, to be completely honest with you.
I would agree, and that's why it's
only video I've watched is one somebody said yesterday where you say the N-word.
That's what's weird about it. Either you accidentally just happened to be the person I was making fun of with those videos, or you watched it and you're like, I could do this.
I thought you were making fun of yourself because Francis is your real personality or something.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Francis was my personality when I was a teenager, and I didn't yet have, control of my emotions.
I think he still is your personality. You just do, a weird little lisp or something.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You do, a speech impediment, and you just say your, real opinions to everybody.
After this was over, Boogie would insanely send this message to Frank. "If you do plan harm, just leave my friends and dog out of it. You are welcome to kill me." Yes, Boogie really gave the green light to Frank to kill him. Frank's trolling campaign against Boogie would soon be taken from the internet and into real life. On September 27th, Frank tweeted out that he was in Boogie's hometown, Fayetteville, Arkansas. The following day, Frank would post a picture standing in front of Boogie's house with the caption reading, "This is my house now, bitch." The battle between these two would reach a boiling point at the end of September when Frank would return to Boogie's house again, and Boogie would come outside to confront him with a loaded revolver. The two would argue back and forth for a few minutes, and the confrontation would come to a conclusion when Boogie ultimately decided to fire a warning shot at Frank.
Is this what I have
Are you
to
gonna
do?
shoot me in your doorway?
Yes.
You're fucking deranged.
I'm asking you to leave. This is my home. You are not welcome here. You have threatened my life. I'm asking you to leave. In about 30 seconds, I'm going to fire a warning shot.
Fire it now! Okay. Fire the warning shot now.
Is this what we have to do? I'm asking you to leave, Sam.
Sam?
Cameron, I don't know your fucking name. I'm asking you to leave. I'm asking you to leave, man. Please don't make me do this. Please don't make me do this.
Will you just leave this property so I can leave?
Why's this guy got a gun?
I'm just here looking at
because I feel threatened.
This guy's about to kill somebody right in front of you.
Why are you on his property? Though?
I'll shoot to wound.
If you're gonna shoot the wound, you should shoot yourself.
No, I plan to shoot you, bud. I'm asking
right
you
here.
to leave.
Right here.
Okay?
Right here.
Okay. I'm asking you to leave.
You pointing a gun at me?
Yes.
Thankfully, nobody got hurt in this situation and both parties went their separate ways. However, Boogie discharged a firearm in a school zone, which is against the law. He would be arrested and sent to county jail where he would bail out for $5,000. A totally insane situation with an even more insane conclusion. And looking back at this with a rational brain, is what Frank Hassel did right, trolling Boogie, going to his house uninvited, and provoking him to the point where he shot a gun at him? No. But Boogie also didn't have to bring a loaded gun into this interaction or really engage with Frank whatsoever at the end of the day, so it is what it is. After this whole ordeal went down, Boogie had all of YouTube talking about him. Even though he would take a short hiatus from social media, his comeback video addressing his arrest was met with a mostly positive response and gained over 500,000 views. Most people saw Boogie as a genuine victim of a vicious trolling campaign that went too far. And for the first time in a long time, he had the chance to redeem himself in front of his audience after he spent the last handful of years destroying his reputation. Would he do this though? Of course not. During the beginning of 2021 would mark the start of Boogie's annoying tweets about cryptocurrency and becoming rich. Shockingly, Boogie was an early investor in the cryptocurrency Ethereum. At the start of 2020, the currency was worth a little over $100, and by the end of November 2021 had skyrocketed to over $4,500. With the insane growth of this crypto, Boogie claimed to have tripled his life savings and announced he was quitting YouTube because he no longer had to work a real job in his life. He would release a video on January 18th, 2021 titled, "I am finally rich, how crypto made me rich." In it, he would explain that while he was suicidal back in 2019, he decided to take all of his liquid funds and invest it into crypto. With the advice of another YouTuber named McJuggernuggets, his plan was essentially get rich or die trying. Of course, Boogie would also be on Twitter flexing his newfound wealth as early as February 2021 when Ethereum was worth almost $2,000. If crypto keeps doing this, I'll actually be a millionaire for the first time in my life. Pray that it does, folks. I'm happy with what I have. But if the market decides I deserve more, shrug. I did the calculations, and if I was able to cash out right around 1 million, I could retire. Never worry about money again. Travel the world, get surgery to remove this skin, take care of my friends. Also, hookers and cocaine, I guess. When my crypto investments finally make me a millionaire, I'm going to have hot nurses give me my Mountain Dew intravenously. You would think someone who was so obsessed with being a millionaire would have cashed out on his investment when it reached its peak value, but that isn't what happened. Boogie, for whatever reason, believed Ethereum was better than a traditional banking system, and he decided to keep all of his money invested in the crypto. On top of that, he started investing in tons of shitcoins like Luna and Doge to try and hit another jackpot investment. Instead of realizing he got ridiculously lucky one time, Boogie started speaking about crypto investments like he knew what he was talking about, and slowly but surely, Boogie